The following presentation was recorded at the Menditto Amplification Annex of Maggio Music Center in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to the workshop. Today we are going to open up this box, which contains a reissue Jensen P10R AlNiCo speaker. We are going to compare it side by side to an original 1964 Jensen P10RL speaker. I'm not exactly sure what that L suffix stands for. We are going to remove the original speaker from the 1964 Gibson GA 5T Skylark amplifier that I have already featured in two earlier videos, and we are going to install this new speaker into that amplifier. I figured that I would slow back down to normal speed for a moment and make things more suspenseful, but let's speed this along again. That is a nice interpretation of the original Jensen special design sticker, and they even give us a tag to hang onto our amplifier or cabinet that we install the speaker into. The speaker is very lightweight. Let's take a close look at the sticker, see if we can get this in focus. It's really cool. Those terminals are very flimsy. They're already a little bent. The gasket is paper, the cone is paper, and the surround is paper. It's not really doped with anything. You can hear the resonant frequency if you tap on it. The dust cover is felt just like the original. The terminals are a little bit different. They're mounted on the inside on this, and on the other speaker you'll see they're mounted on the outside. This is the very distinctive U or C-shaped magnet, and that's the voice coil inside there. It's a really nice piece. The paper looks aged already. It looks vintage. So they did an excellent job. It looks very close to the original. The design, the build, and the materials look very genuine. Let's put this new speaker off to the side, and I will grab the Gibson Skylark amplifier, and as I am removing the original speaker out of the amplifier, I will tell you a bit more about this Jensen reissue speaker. The reissued Jensen P10R AlNiCo magnet speaker was first released in the summer of 1999. This was the first vintage reproduction speaker released by Jensen. The original plans and specifications for these speakers were lost after Jensen ceased production in the late 1960s. So these current production speakers were reverse engineered from vintage examples, and that was done by engineers in Italy in the late 1990s. Jensen currently offers a full line of these AlNiCo speakers in 6, 8, 10, 12, and 15-inch diameters, with power ratings ranging from 20 to 50 watts. The P10R is available in 4, 8, and 16 ohm nominal impedance rated models. This P10R speaker has a power rating of 25 watts, and this is the 8 ohm model, which is relatively low sensitivity at 94.2 decibels at 1 watt of power as measured from 1 meter away. So this is not a particularly loud speaker. The voice coil DC resistance is about 6.60 ohms. The impedance rating is nominal because it varies with frequency, but you can easily measure the DC resistance with a multimeter. That resistance specification comes in handy when you are trying to diagnose problems with your speaker and you want to measure if the voice coil is within specification. The original speaker that I am removing right here, it lacks volume, it is lacking treble, and it is also making some strange rattling sounds when you measure the DC resistance, which should be about 6.60 ohms, it actually measures about 4.68 ohms. So that was the final indication to me that the speaker is indeed failing and needs to be changed. The magnet weight on this speaker is about 7 ounces or 200 grams, and the overall weight of the speaker is about 3.09 pounds or 1.4 kilograms. The cone material is paper, and the surround is paper, and it's not doped, it's just plain paper, and the gasket is layered paper. The resonant frequency is about 97 hertz, so it is not a particularly bass-heavy speaker. For reference, the lowest note on a guitar using standard tuning is about 82 hertz. The G note on the 3rd fret of the low E string is about 98 hertz. This speaker works really well with a bass-heavy tone stack, like those found in a traditional Fender-style tone stack, but it can be kind of gutless and honky sounding in a high-gain amplifier with a very mid-range heavy tone stack without a lot of bass. Matching the speaker with the right amplifier and the right speaker cabinet is important to achieve the tone that they are known for. Clean tones are very crisp, defined, and bell-like. Overdriven tones are crunchy and brassy. These speakers produce quite a unique and colorful overdriven sound. Harmonica players love these speakers. The only way that I can describe the tone is kind of a brassy sounding kazoo when you really push these speakers. I think that it is a combination of the metal alloy of the magnet, the compression created by the magnetic flux and field of the unique magnet shape, coupled with the way that the thin paper vibrates and resonates. Aside from the most obvious difference, which is the color, the main difference between these two speakers is that the older model has a land up on top of the basket there with mounting holes so that you can mount an output transformer directly to the speaker. The layered paper gasket seems to be about the same density, weight, and thickness as the reproduction speaker here. When you tap on the cone, the frequency produced is slightly different between the two, and it feels a little bit different, but I think that is really only due to the fact that the new speaker is, well, it's brand new, and it has not been broken in yet. Here is the land and the mounting holes on the old speaker for an output transformer. And as you can see on the new reproduction model here, it doesn't have that. Now, I'm not certain if that was what the RL suffix on the old speaker indicates as opposed to the R suffix on the new reproduction speaker. The baskets seem to be about the same gauge of steel. I switched on the camera light now so that we can take a nice look at the spider and the back of the cone inside of the basket on both of these speakers. We are going to take just another look at both of these speakers side by side with this light on so that we get a nice comparison. And then we are going to install the new speaker into the Gibson Skylark amplifier. I think that the engineers at Sika Loudspeakers did a spectacular job at replicating just about every aspect and detail of the original Jensen AlNiCo speaker product line. Some companies buy a famous brand name and put it on products bearing no resemblance to the heritage of the original brand, but that is definitely not the case here. It must have been quite a task to reverse engineer a product that had been out of production for several decades with no plans or records of what materials were used or who supplied those materials. So this is a pretty remarkable achievement. Now we are going to install our new Jensen P10R AlNiCo speaker into our 1964 Gibson GA 5T Skylark amplifier. During this segment, our steam radiators decided to make a cameo appearance. Earlier, I had mentioned that the terminals on the speaker seemed rather flimsy. Well, the metal is indeed very thin, because these spade connectors, which fit very snugly on the old speaker, are extremely loose on this speaker. So for now, I am going to crimp them down a bit so that they fit a little bit more tightly, but I am going to follow up and install some new spade connectors. Okay, now we are going to reinstall this back panel and then plug the amplifier in and give it a quick sound test to make sure that the speaker is working properly. Before I do anything else, I am going to put this old Jensen P10RL speaker away in the box so that it does not get damaged, because this speaker can be refurbished. Now I am going to perform a quick sound test using my 2020 Fender American Performer Stratocaster. After that, I am going to spend a few days playing this amplifier, trying to break this speaker in a bit. Then I am going to make one last video presentation to complete this series using my 2018 EVH 5150 standard guitar and compare that to the previous recordings I had made with that guitar through the old Jensen P10RL speaker. The speaker sounds nice, but it's definitely sounding a bit stiff. So I am going to spend a few days loosening things up, and then we will continue in our next video presentation. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have an amplifier or instrument that needs repair, please utilize the comment section below, send me an email, or give us a call at the store. We will release more video presentations like this one very soon. Thank you again from all of us here at Menditto Amplification and Maggio Music Center in Brooklyn, New York.